This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Ford is taking an axe to 5 of its ICE models as part of its transition to electric. Automotive News reports that the Escape will get dropped in 2025, as will the Edge and the Lincoln Corsair and Aviator. The Transit Connect will get chopped from Ford's US lineup, but it will continue in Europe. We suspect that these are also vehicles with low or next to no profit margins. EV transition or not, automakers don't get rid of models that are highly profitable. It's up, it's down, it's up again. VinFast stock has been on a wild roller coaster ride ever since its IPO 2 weeks ago, and right now it's rocketing upwards again. Shares shot up 30% this morning in early trading, adding $50 billion of market capitalization to the Vietnamese car company. That early morning surge alone was more than GM or Ford are worth. In fact, VinFast now has a $160 billion market cap, making it the third most valuable automaker in the world, only behind Tesla and Toyota, and ahead of Mercedes-Benz and Volkswagen. We think that speculators are driving the stock surge because it sure wasn't coming from car sales. VinFast says it will sell 50,000 EVs this year, but so far in the US at least, it only sold 137. There's a big problem in pickup land. Both GM and Ford are cutting pickup truck production this week because of a part shortage, but neither company will say what those parts are. Ford's Kansas City plant, which normally runs on 3 shifts, is only running on 1, and GM's Fort Wayne plant has shut down completely. Production is expected to resume next week, but it seems like more than a coincidence that both companies were affected at the same time with the same kind of product. So it sounds to us like the problem was with the supplier that they both use. Gorilla Performance, a tuning shop located in Idaho, is being fined $1 million by the EPA for selling diesel emission defeat devices for trucks. The agency said it sold tens of thousands of devices, which allow owners to bypass emission control components. The EPA also fined another company, Sinister Diesel, $1 million earlier this month for the same thing. The agency estimates that 15% of diesel trucks in the US have illegal devices installed to bypass emissions. The emissions that they spew, sometimes doing it in massive plumes of black smoke called rolling coal or coal rolling, feature unburned hydrocarbons that are extremely carcinogenic and can embed in your lungs.
At Schaeffler, we pioneer motion. Electrifying mobility, manufacturing smarter, reducing CO2 emissions, making energy production clean. Schaeffler pioneers motion to advance how the world moves.
It's getting harder and harder to find an affordable used car in the US. According to a study from iSeeCars.com, used cars priced under $20,000 that are 1 to 5 years old made up nearly half the market 4 years ago, but today they only account for 12%. And the cost for a used car has gone up significantly as well. In 2019, the average price was just over $23,000. Today, it's well over 34 grand. Used cars also have more mileage on them. On average, they now have around 63,500 miles, which is 46% higher than in 2019. IC Cars says that's because consumers are hanging on to their vehicles longer because they can't afford to or don't want to pay higher prices for new or used vehicles. Renault is treating its Ampere EV unit as a truly standalone business. It will separate it from the ICE part of the company in November, and CEO Luca De Meo says Renault is targeting an IPO for Ampere in the spring of 2024. Ford and Toyota have also separated the EV and ICE sides of the companies, and this makes us wonder if either of them will list it on the stock market like Renault. Last week we looked at a couple of new camper vans, and here's another one, but with a lot more style. Citroen is recreating its iconic H-van, which was sold from 1947 until 1981. And here's a good example that we spotted on a recent trip to New York. The new Type Holiday is based on a current Citroen van, the Space Tourer, but it features a completely custom body kit to make it look like the classic, which was originally called the Type H. That includes its squared-off nose with giant chevrons in the grille, bug-eye headlights, louvered body panels, and simple steel wheels. Citroen actually built this van years ago, but it's keeping it up to date with this new caravanning theme. Plus, it gives us an excuse to show you some cool pictures. Chinese vehicle maker XPeng says it's the first to fly an eVTOL, or electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, across a river in China. Car News China reports that it took its latest generation eVTOL, called the XPeng X2, 4 minutes to make the 1.5 kilometer or roughly 1 mile journey. That means it only went 15 miles an hour or about 24 kilometers an hour. We're unsure of the top speed, but the X2 is capable of flying for about 25 minutes. So it's going to be limited to short distances and small loads. The aircraft weighs 680 kilograms or about 1,500 pounds and can carry up to 160 kilograms or 352 pounds. XPeng says deliveries will start in 2025 with an expected starting price in the $100,000 to $200,000 range. And while that's clearly for a wealthier customer, lower-priced NEVs seem to still be resonating with Chinese buyers as long as they're new. Even models that are only a few years old, like the Wuling Mini EV, are seeing their sales plateau. That's one of the reasons we think brands like Geely keep introducing more versions of their affordable cars, like the new Night version of its Panda EV, which starts around 10 grand. It features design elements that give it a more rugged look. In fact, we're seeing a lot of American SUV styling influence in a number of new Chinese EVs. That includes Chery's iCar 03, which is expected to launch next month with a starting price around $20,000. It's a front-wheel drive SUV with a 135 kilowatt or 184 horsepower electric motor and an estimated 500 kilometers or 310 miles of range. A four-wheel drive version is said to be coming later as well. iCar is Chery's new brand aimed at younger buyers, and it wants to eventually have a 7-car lineup. But that brings us to the end of today's show. Thanks for making Autoline a part of your day.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering, boost your game. Scheffler, we pioneer motion. And by Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.
At Teijin Automotive Technologies, we combine world-class composite materials expertise with cutting-edge designs because, frankly, there are better ways to lightweight vehicles. So lighten up with Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.
We want to know what drives your testing. OTA, connected car, diagnostics, remote testing. Intrepid Control Systems is here to help you work from anywhere. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.